Joining us now, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. It's great to have you on, Ken. Okay, the president is saying any talk about this is political grandstanding. The vice president is saying that you guys are playing politics with this story. At least 53 illegal immigrants now dead. It's the worst mass casualty event at the border in modern U.S. history. Drug smugglers, human traffickers purposely distract Border Patrol with a flood of illegal immigrants to push through drugs and human individuals there. So, but you guys are grandstanding and playing politics with this, according to the White House.
Yeah, and I don't know how you can say that with a straight face. We just had Uvalde where 21 people were killed. He made a really big deal about that. We had, obviously, legislation passed, which he was for. He got very engaged in that issue. This is twice as many people, and he says we're grandstanding about it, and he dismisses it because, look, we all know he's invited this problem. He's asked the cartels to bring these people here. This is going to happen again. It's happened before. And the Biden administration doesn't care about the loss of these people.
He hasn't asked the cartels to bring the people there, right? He's just weakened the border, right?
He's basically, it's a partnership. I mean, the deal is the cartels know because he advertised on day one, the border is open. You don't have to run anymore. You don't have to hide these people. Bring them to the border agents. Tell them you want asylum, and we'll transport them in the middle of the night somewhere in the United States. It's a partnership. Whether it's explicit, it's certainly implicit, and the cartels have been given the message, get as many people here as much as possible, as fast as possible, and you'll make more money, and that's what's happening. They're making billions of dollars, and the Biden administration has enabled that.
So you, along with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, say that the 53 migrant deaths could have been prevented if the White House would just fund Border Patrol and let them do their job. And by the way, the president has yet to even call you or the governor of Texas. Let's listen to the governor of Texas here. Watch.
Has the White House called you? Have you heard from them about this mass casualty event?
Absolutely not. But I did see the statement that was put out by Biden, and the thing that struck me is exactly what you said, and I want to elaborate on it. He said that he is doing everything possible to stop human smuggling. That's a lie. He has stopped doing everything that had been done to address human smuggling. He has defunded and inadequately funded Border Patrol. He's dismantled ICE. He has eliminated all of the border security efforts that were put in place by President Trump. It was just a year and a half ago when we had the most secure border in decades.
And now you have, possibly tomorrow, the Supreme Court may weigh in on Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. And if they rule against the White House, I mean, what can the White House do?
Look, the White House so far has ignored federal law on multiple occasions. The governor is right. And then they lie about it. If the Supreme Court answers this the right way, which hopefully they will, then the Biden administration is going to have to follow that Supreme Court order. Otherwise, they're now defying federal law and they're defying a Supreme Court order. If that happens, we have a constitutional crisis.
So it's sort of like you guys are on your own, right? The president has never been to the border ever, and he doesn't even call when there's this mass casualty event. And the Biden White House has been accused of not understanding that drug and human traffickers dehumanize illegal immigrants like cargo. They're treated like commodities, right? So you have that issue going on.
Yeah, Liz, I wish we were left on our own. We could handle it. We would deal with it. We would make things better. We would protect our citizens. It's not just that we're being left on our own. We're basically fighting the federal government. They're inviting this. This is no accident. They're not surprised by it. They're not surprised by the increase in fentanyl deaths. They're not surprised by this issue that happened in San Antonio where over 50 people died. None of it's a surprise. They are inviting it, and they're willing to trade these lives, American lives and these immigrant lives, for all of these new immigrants coming into the country.
You know, it's Representative Chip Roy said it's so bad he's hearing authorities are using a, quote, mobile morgue due to the number of illegal immigrants dying, coming in the wrong way, breaking the law.
Well, he's right, and those numbers are just going to go up as the heat continues to increase, which it will in Texas throughout July and August. And into September, people are going to die. And the Biden administration is literally encouraging this to happen. They're willing to let these people die to get more people in the country.
Well, there's nothing compassionate about that or progressive.
No, there's nothing good. It's pure evil. There's nothing good about it. It's policy It's a policy based on getting more votes, and there's enough people they're willing to let die. That's just a reality.
Ken Paxton, thanks for joining us. Come back soon.